Social media beef. This is a broadcast that can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And with that being said, I want to also say good evening. Viewers, tonight we are confronting a pressing issue that echoes across the digital realm that prolifies nonstop online beefing by African Americans. Just as we dissect the rising tide of African American conflicts of social media, unraveling the reasons behind the constant clashes and exploring the impact this virtual battleground has on individuals and society at large. This will be a thought provoking discussion on the excessive beefing culture and its implications in our digital landscape. There's Big Brother. What's going on?
Ain't nothing happening, man. I'm just chilling, taking it easy. I think we got to really talk about this subject because, to be honest with you, Chaz, I'm sick and tired of it. But
Yes.
yet it constantly comes upon us. And what we're talking about tonight will be African Americans beefing on social media. Aren't you disgusted and sick and tired of grown people acting like little kids when it comes to us as a people?
Brother, and that's all you see. Mostly on social media, you see all these actors, entertainers, rappers, etc. All of them are acting like 5-year-olds,
Yeah, and
acting like they can't just keep their mouth shut. And whatever, like I said, instead of saying whatever he or she says about me, ignore it. It's like we gotta cause a scene. We gotta make noise. So we're gonna dive deep into that. We have Sister Marie in the building, Sis Hotel. But yeah, bro, I'm sick of it myself. I really am.
Well, then let's get this thing started because we do not have any time to waste. And so let's ask the all important question, which is why do so many of us, Chaz, because we keep this thing going? Let's be honest, most of us keep it going. We engage in these social media beefs. In other words, we look at them all the time. We like that kind of stuff. It's almost like we're sickened in the heart because it's sickened in the mind because who would sit around all day, man, and listen to people argue like little kids? Who would do that, Chaz?
Well, when you're bored and you don't have anything to do, I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just telling you the mindset of the people why they do it. They're bored. They don't have anything to do, so they feel like conflict and chaos and drama. People cussing each other out. People degrading one another.
Yeah.
Talking about another man's mama.
Yeah.
Brother, it's so bad. I've seen people literally know that the other one's mother or father is dead and still degrade them and still say in his or her dead casket, he's a blankety blank. It's terrible, brother. It is horrible.
And we act like we don't want to put a stop to this because instead of us talking about it like you and I are doing, many of us, we encourage that kind of stuff. This is all we live for, man. It's like we're little children going around on the playground, listening to people arguing, instigating, and did you hear what so-and-so said? It is disgusting and it makes you want to throw up because there are many reasons why we engage in it. And one of them, Chaz, is social media beefs, especially with African Americans. We are entertaining. We are entertained by this. And we say it's like a wrestling match. We like this kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, it is. The sad part, brother, you're spot on. It is entertaining for most of us because, once again, we sit back and we really, deep down in our hearts, we really feel good hearing another person just tear a man or woman down. We love listening. And in fact, brother, I've even heard in some instances where if the fans feel like the beef is instigated enough, or if they feel like it's not hype enough, they'll get angry when the beef is squashed. Instead of saying that was a good thing, brother, they are angry when the beefs are squashed.
We have so many issues that we're facing today as a people. And I would just imagine that back in the day, our people that lived back then, they had their issues. But Chaz, this is almost like high school mess because the internet, yes, we may have more technology, but in many regards, we've gone backwards a whole lot because a lot of us don't realize that these beefs that we're engaging in, it dumbs us down and it makes us appear as if we're nothing more than little children.
Number two, social media beefs is where many of our interests are. It's spot on. We are so interested, and it's so many of these beefs that come out. It's kind of hard to keep up with them. every other week, every other night, you look on social media, it's some new entertainer, some new actor, just going back and forth. And we're so interested. We actually call our relatives. Did you see Kevin Hart beefing with such and such? I mean, brother, it is beyond ridiculous.
I was reading that they paid Shannon Sharpe $100,000 more because Cat Williams and he broke the internet, I guess, viewership. They had 80 million views, you see. And I'm telling you, this is where our interests are. 80 million views to listen to two grown men act like two little kids arguing and talking about other people. You know, we have too many issues. See, here's where my problem lies with us. Okay. My problem lies with us, wherein we know that this stuff is going on, but instead of trying to unplug it, we throw fuel on the fire and we fan it and make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is why I'm saying social media beefs, especially with the African American, it's as if, don't we have something better to do with our time? Are we just interested in Chaz? I cannot believe that this time and day that we are getting 80 million views of people, most of them are African American, who are watching this stuff that we're talking about today.
It's sad. And brother, with the uprise of social media like Facebook, Snapchat, all these apps, brother, it's so bad. And I have to add this in there. If a person is beefing and a certain fan, let's say, for example, is on Kevin Hart's side, do you know sometimes these people have to deactivate their account because the fans get on there and they add some nasty comments on these fans' pages. They talk about their families, brother. It is so bad. Think about this. Your social media is blowing up all day and all night because of another man just degrading you all night, and you have to shut your phone off because it can't take it. Fans coming in from all 50 states. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Well, let me tell you this next one, because I want to read this one, because it says that the reason that we get into this, many of us, is because social media beefs are confused with our own relatability. Now, what am I saying when I say that? What I'm saying is many of us, we like these social media beefs so much that we end up getting those beefs confused because we relate to arguing with people. So now we look at them arguing, and so we feel as though we can connect with them because we can relate to them. And this shows a mindset that has been dumbed down to where all we want to do is listen to grown men and grown women on the internet, go back and forth, talking about each other, just belittling and berating us. And we can relate to that. So because we talk to each other like this, now we want to throw our hat in the ring and say we're a part of this thing. And it's so confusing. It's a big ball of mess. It's terrible, Chaz.
Yes, you took what I was getting ready to say. I'm going to pass on that. But, brother, you're absolutely right. Sister Barbara's in the building. She comments, we have turned social media into a drama opera.
She hit it on. She definitely hit it. It's just like a soap opera, because back in the day and even now, women and men get on the phone and say, did you see as the world turns? Did you see what Charlie Bob is doing? You see, is she going to leave him? Is she going to stay with him? And this is what we've turned this into, nothing but a soap opera. And this is why we're confused, Chaz. That's what it is. We're confused. And I noticed that our viewership, even yours and mine, our viewership, which we could care less, but our viewership has plummeted somewhat over the last month. And the reason that it plummeted is because many of these viewers would rather watch other things than to watch a teaching broadcast. You know, they don't want to hear anything that's going to help them. They don't want to hear anything that's going to help their children. They want to hear the smut. They want to hear all the mess that people are talking about in these social media streets.
Exactly. And back to that real quick before we go on to the next one. You said about the numbers plummeting. And like I have to keep hitting this home, brother. You don't want to get, I'm just speaking for us in particular, not getting caught up in numbers because they come and go. It's just the fact, if you can get a couple people who are interested, that are down for the cause, then that's that, because most of the society, they're in their own world and they don't care, like you mentioned. But as number 4 says, social media beats for some, it's celebrity identification.
Please let me have that. Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead. Deal with that. I got something to add to that. Go ahead.
I was just going to take what you just said previously. We identify with these celebrities because we feel like he tore brother Chris's butt up. He tore his butt down to shreds. And we feel like that, brother, we dealing with so much at work, in our homes. We feel just like the person that's doing the degrading and the tearing down. So that's why we cling. And listen, it's some of us who are so obsessed with these beefs. We even mimic and practice what they say in the mirror to try out on our next victim. That's how bad it is. But I'll let you have
it is terrible, because I wanted to say that many of us have locked ourselves into thinking that we know these celebrities. Let's be honest, Chaz. Let's get into the heart of the issue. We watch these people on TV as they grow up. They're teenagers. Now they become comedians, or they become movie stars. And we've watched so many of their movies, and we really can identify with them. So we actually think we know these people. Right. And this is why if you talk about a celebrity, somebody else will come to their defense.
Right.
And they don't even know these people, man. And this is how sick this is. We have come to identify with these celebrities after all these years. And if you say something about these celebrities and you're trying to shed light on it, you're going to get your head bitten off because of the ignorance with us. Because many of us, we have fallen in love with some of them. We don't even know these people. But because we've seen all these movies, we have grown to think that we really know these people. And this is why we act the way we act, because we want to know what these people are doing. We want to know what they're eating. We want to know what their dog is wearing. We want to know where they live. We want to know what they're doing. And so this is why this social media beef is terrible, because it's drug us into something that many of us can't get out of, man.
Yes, and I just want to, and I'm not going to really throw names, but let's just be taking a step. Like you just mentioned, we take this stuff personal when we find out our favorite rapper or somebody's in beef. For example, when Puff Daddy just got into this beef with the sister Cassie a few months ago, brother, you would be shocked how many people took up for Puff Daddy as if they saw everything. Oh, she just want his money. Oh, she just after him because she's not getting any media attention. And it's like these fans that I've witnessed, they have taken this beyond. It's something that I've never seen before with how big that they carry on about this stuff when, like you said, we don't know what happened, but I don't think that the sister is lying on them.
But this is why they call themselves fans, man. A fan is a person who is a fanatic. And a fanatic will do anything for the person that they care for. So these fanatics, they're fanatical. They will do anything. See, this is why the social media beef is out of control, especially within the African-American community. We sit around like little kids and we listen to these beefs. We listen to both sides, and then we pick which side we believe or we think is true. And then we start spewing this information out to other people. And we ought to be ashamed of ourselves, because our children are dying. Our children are being miseducated. We have very little income. We have very little wealth as a people. Our brothers are being put in prison. Our sisters are being ostracized. We have too many problems to be sitting around listening to two grown men curse and argue and talk about each other, and then we even go to them and see them, because once we hear them on social media, when they come to our city, their ticket sales go up. So we want to go see them. And this shows a deranged and delusional type of people, man. And that's terrible.
Yes. And I just want to add real quick before we go to the next. And I was getting ready to say, some of the beefs, it's kind of hard to take serious, because it's like WWE. They're doing this, like you said, and not only for ticket sales, brother. They may know they have an album coming out within a week, so they'll do something stupid like start up beef with another artist so they can get more tickets for the album. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But I'll move on to the next point, as you say on the screen. Number 5, social media beefs for many is monkey see, monkey do. Now, I'm not really, I'm not really surprised at this, because we as people can't think for ourselves. So whenever we see one of our entertainers do, and brother, we've had this discussion. I believe if LeBron James came out on national TV right now and told every black man and said, go and get you a stick off of a tree, get you some tape and tape it on your shoulder, I'm willing to bet you 80% of men would start walking around in public with some tape and a doggone stick on their shoulder because LeBron James said it, brother. That's how bad is this guy. And I want you to say real quick, Anuji's in the building. She says, peace and blessings. We appreciate her too. But yes, it is a monkey see, monkey do. It is terrible.
Yeah, it's see monkey do because everybody's talking about it. See, if I hear you talking about Kanye beefing with Jay-Z, then I gotta go find out what is Chaz talking about. So I gotta go undercover and look up on the internet and research what they said. And then when I see you again, we'll have a conversation not about how my health has failed me, not about how my mind is messed up, not about how much weight I'm gaining, not about how my mind is leaving me. So I want to talk about Kanye. I want to talk about all these different people, Jay-Z. I want to talk about Beyonce, Kevin Hart, Shannon Sharp. And it's like we are some sick people, but nobody wants to say it, Chaz. And the only way this is going to change is we got to have people that talk about this like we are, although we're talking about it in love. Somebody's got to put their foot down and say, we got to stop this monkey see, monkey do business fighting on the internet. Your boy got in a fight the other day. Cam Newton, they stole him. So now everybody's talking about who was wrong, and now there's beef going back and forth. Chaz, this has gotten out of control, man.
Yes, it has. There was something you just said about it slipped my mind here about this monkey see, monkey do thing. It totally slipped my mind. Forgive me, but I'll go ahead and move on to the next one. If I remember, I'll bring it back up.
This is
Number 6. Social media beefs are truly enjoyed by too many of us. Some of us like this mess, brother. I know that this is spot on. It's 1,000% spot on because I've told you it's so bad when the beefs end early because sometimes the rappers say we've beefed long enough. It's not really about this anymore. I'm an older man. I've changed. I'm not really, going to keep doing this. The fans will really get angry. They'll say, "Oh, you weak. You let him punk you. You're a chump. You're a lame for letting him punk you." And it's like, instead of saying, "Let's let it go. This man is mature," we really get angry when the beefs are squashed. And then let me just tell you this real quick. Sometimes they'll start back up. They'll be quiet for like a month, maybe a year, and then the rapper will say something else about the man again, and then they'll spark their beef back up, and then the fans come out and they got their popcorn. It's a totally sad place.
It shows an immature mindset because, first of all, many of these people are too old, man, for this. Some of these people are in their 60s, 50s, 40s. In all their career, they've been arguing with this artist, arguing with this comedian, talking about this artist, talking about that comedian, talking about that entertainer. And it's like, Chaz, they enjoy it. Many of us do. That's why we put on here on number 6, social media beefs. They are truly enjoyed. Chaz, some of us enjoy this because, see, our lives are messy and we like mess. And that's nothing but mess. It's trash. It's garbage. And nobody's talking about it like us. There are others as well. I don't mean it literally, but not too many of us are talking about it like us. And so therefore, we feel as though we got to take part in this. Chaz, we are too old, man. Our people have been through too much to be going through this nonsense.
Yeah, and I just remember what I was going to say, brother. What Cat Williams said in particular, I just got to get this because there are smart alecks who say, well, what about what he said? Listen to what Cat really said. The stuff that Cat Williams mentioned about Jay-Z and guys being homosexuals, cause himself exposed to the industry. Let me just make myself clear. These are things that most of us already knew. The blood sacrifices, homosexuality. This is stuff that we already knew. And let me just say this. If Cat Williams was really about something, exposing what he claims himself to do, he will be dead. So that just goes to that just goes to show you how we can't connect. If you are really going to expose something, you're going to be in the casket. So Cat Williams and his company and his agent, they sat around and said, let's get people to drum up some attention. Let's see how far we can take this, and we're going to get attention by you call yourselves exposing something that we already knew, and fans are acting like it's new, and it's not. We already knew this, brother.
But Chaz, you're an African-American male. Why would I want to put your business out like that as your brother? What's going on between us? I need to give you a phone call if I'm truly serious and say, hey, Chaz, let's talk about what's going on. And as two men, we're going to talk about it and it's done. Why do I go to a social media page and talk about you like that, knowing you're going to see it? And then when you see it, you're going to respond back. then I'm going to respond back. Then my friend's going to respond back on my behalf. Your friend's going to respond on your behalf. Chaz, this is the most ridiculous thing that we have stooped to in the year 2024 and the so-called year 2024. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves. And most of us adults aren't talking like this because we're afraid. We love these people, grown men and grown women arguing, and just that we have too many issues. Why can't we talk about this in privacy as we're supposed to and leave it alone? We have too many issues to be sitting on the internet trying to figure out which one of us got the upper hand on the other person because I exposed you doing something, and now you're going to try to expose me doing something.
Right. And I've heard some comments. I love to go to YouTube and read the comment section. A lot of the people were saying that the reason why he didn't call him on the phone was because he was giving a heads up to all the young people who possibly want to get in the entertainment industry, and he's trying to warn them ahead of time.
No, I ain't buying that.
This is what they're saying, brother.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I ain't buying that, Chaz. That's lame. That's really lame what you're saying. Not you. But right. what they are saying, that's lame. We know how to treat people. We know how to talk to one another. When your brother or sister has wronged you, we have too many issues that's oppressing us, man, to be sitting around watching internet beefs and arguing and quarrels and taking sides and spreading this mess. And a lot of these women and men alike, they won't open their mouths when it comes to stuff like this. But as soon as something very trite happens, they're going to speak as loud as they can. But yet when they're supposed to speak loud, they're not. And if all of us talk like we did and stop looking at this nonsense, I bet you it would die down because we wouldn't give it any fuel. We wouldn't give it any legs. But that's our problem because social media beefs, as we're looking at number 7, it increases celebrity ticket sales. And because I'm so ignorant, I listen to two people arguing. When one comes to my city, I'm so ignorant, I want to get a ticket so I can hear some more stuff that I heard on social media. And so now the ticket sales go up, and yet we don't have money like that. And this is where we have stooped, man. And this is getting me up in the air only because I love my people. And I really want people to know that we got to stop it, man, is what I'm saying. We got to stop this mess.
Right. And I forgot to mention this about this one in particular, about the ticket sales going up. I said earlier when Cat Williams called herself exposed and all that stuff on Shannon Sharp, I didn't know that Sister Monique was with him too. She even got in on it. So
yeah, her and DL Hughley, it's gotta stop, man. And we're the ones that can stop it. See, and I know a lot of us don't want to hear this, but stop buying their tickets. And when they say, why are y'all not buying my tickets? Tell me something that's funny and quit talking about my brothers and sisters, and then I'll buy your ticket. See, we can stop it, man, but we don't want to.
Brother, like you told me earlier, I don't think, brother, we are too far to sit up here and tell us to stop buying a Kevin Hart ticket.
Okay,
don't
you're
buy
right. That didn't even sound right. You're right.
It's too hard, brother. Our minds are too far gone. We could never stop.
Okay, you're right. And I'm trying to throw something out there that's practical, but the bottom line is, like you said, we are so far gone. And here's the deal. A lot of us know that we're gone because we're gone. Our children are gone. Our parents are gone. Our nieces and nephews, most of us are gone mentally, psychologically. And we don't know how to come back. Now, on this broadcast later on, if we get the time, Chad, we're going to give them some tips, some practical things to do to stop this. But until then, we have to expose it and look at what's really going on, man.
Number 8. Social media beefs are non-productive. They are. You sit at home for an hour or 2 hours on YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, all these apps, listening to nonsense. All it is basically degrading. A man talking about his girl, a man digging up pictures about what he used to look like in high school and comparing how busted he was, or all this stuff. It's not helping you. It's making you more dumb. And in fact, let me just say this. I wouldn't put it past the elites staging some of this beef to get us to fall asleep while they're working on something dangerous in the background. So I put that in there as well.
Chaz, something has happened to us because I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to be as honest as you can be because you're an honest gentleman. So I want to ask you this question. Do you mean to tell me this number 8 says social media beefs are non-productive? We know that. Do you mean to tell me that we have nothing better to do than to watch this stuff on social media?
I believe that we don't have anything else to do. We don't. That's why we engage. the average person, and it's not me saying that I'm all high and mighty or I think I'm better. I'm saying the average person, brother, we don't have anything to do. So when we're bored, we look to this. We look for solutions to call stop our boredom, and we look for chaos and drama. And like I said, in fact, brother, I'll even take it past the beefs. When you go to YouTube and you can see when you type in stuff, I've even seen just people looking up fights. Now I'm talking about fist fights.
Okay.
So it's like this is why we're so non-productive. We're looking at all this garbage.
And I guess I have to concur, meaning I would have to agree with you because we should have something better to do, but we don't. We choose not to. Grown women, man, grown men. Now, I can see if you're in your teens and you're doing this, even though I shouldn't, I'm gonna give you a pass.
Right,
because your mind is not fully developed yet, Chaz.
Right.
You're still wet behind the ears. You're young, dumb, and full of bubble gum. You know, you there's a lot of things going on that you're going through as far as maturation.
Right.
But when you get in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, and this internet beefing is all you have going for you, you are a sick individual, man. And we need help, man. And you're laughing because it's funny, but yet many of us need help. We love this. We did many broadcasts about the dangers of the internet when we just have been addicted to it. But Chaz, it's worse now than ever before.
Yes.
It's worse now than before. Grown women and men, this is all they have is the telephone. All they have is a phone with social media on it. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, it's on there. This is all they do, man. So I feel like my heart is heavy tonight. My heart is very heavy because we have stooped to a level that's as low as it comes when you get 80 million views of two Negroes talking about everybody and their mama, and then the ones that they talk about come back and do a video on them, and then here we got this thing going. Chaz, we done lost our everlasting minds, man.
Bro, I want to just sidestep real quick because I'm questioning when did we lose it? And my conclusion can be when we lost it. This is just my honest opinion. I'll give you the floor real quick. I think we lost it when social media became popular because I remember perfectly, brother, back in 2000, 2001, 2002, Facebook and none of this stuff wasn't jumping like it is now. Nobody was on the phones like they are now. And back then, yeah, people had problems. Yeah, people did dumb stuff. But it seemed like we had more of a grasp on life and we were more in tune with nature. We were more in tune with each other. We were more friendly. Brother, when social media was created, I'm talking about specifically the era of Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and all that. Mm-hmm. I believe, brother, that's when all this stuff went south. I'm going to ask you. What do you think it?
I agree with you 100%. I don't always agree with you, Chaz, because I try to stop you when you say something retarded or ridiculous. But you just said a mouthful. People don't want to hear what we have to say, man. And you're right. And here's what really happened. Here it is. I'll just put it this way.
Okay.
People are lonely. Yes, they are. People are desperate. People want to belong. So they look at this social media as something that they can belong to. So
wow.
Yes, they do. And so this has gripped their hearts, and our words is not going to stop it. Many of us have lost our minds. We don't see it that way. So we follow people that are whack. We listen to people that are silly. And this is all we do because we're messed up, man. And nobody wants to come to the forefront and say, we need help as a whole. Anytime you get almost 100 million views on two men talking about everybody and their mama, and then those people they talk about respond to them, and none of us are talking about it like this. We're not even talking about it like this because the next one. Social media beasts are kept alive, Chaz, by a whole lot of us, man. We're keeping this thing alive.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to your local barbershop, your local hair salon for the sisters who go and get their hair done. Brother, that's most of the conversation in there. Who said what, why they did it, whose side they own. And in fact, brother, there's some of us that, listen, there's some of us, it's spread it even to the politic world. Just because these dudes are old white men and white women, they social media. Joe Biden and Trump, that's beef right there. It's not as popular as the rappers, but that's beef right there.
It is. And it's all intertwined. And this is what I wanted to say, because I want to take this next one and just talk, just not a lot, but just briefly about it, maybe a couple of sentences. We're so messed up, man, that a lot of us think that social media beefs, we have mistaken those as our culture. We'll say that's how Black people are. That's how African Americans are. That's just our culture. You don't even know what culture. That has nothing to do with culture, man. That's not norms. That's not precepts. That's not mores. That's not what a culture is, man. These are the decisions that we have made to put ourselves in a foolish position as individuals. And so we have thought, most of us, well, that's just our culture. And I've heard ignoramuses say that that's our culture. That has nothing to do with a culture, man. Those are people who are doing these things ignorantly, and some of them know what they're doing. And we have fallen for the okie doke instead of pulling the plug on that stuff and saying, I will not be a part of these African-American beefs. I will not be a part of any of this back and forth. And if anybody comes to me and asks me, have you heard about Jay-Z beefing? I'm going to tell them, I don't care about what Jay-Z is saying. I don't get into that. And you should stop it. And then if we stop it, many of them will, I bet you it will quiet down.
But brother, like I told you earlier, brother, what you said sounds perfect in theory. It sounds so good and simple. All we got to do is stop listening to Jay-Z. Brother, brother, if you even listen, this is how I know we're going. Now I'm sidestepping a little bit, just bear with me. The other day, there was something that happened on AT&T where the power of the cell phones went out. When the phones got back up, there's a few things I saw on the internet. People had lost it just for those few hours that the power was out. And they didn't have Facebook, Twitter, all that for those couple hours. And when it got back on, I saw some footage, people just saying how they were going crazy without their phones. And that's just a phone. And we idolize Jay-Z and them. We can't stop listening to these guys.
I tell you what, you're so right, man. A beautiful queen says, talk about cyberbullying. Yes, people who beat people up on the internet and make them do things that they don't want to do. You know, some of these, not only politicians, but some of these rappers and some of these entertainers, some of these movie stars, they make people do what they don't want to do. Even when you buy a ticket, you really don't want to buy the ticket. You don't want to buy that ticket, but you've been bullied into buying it because they told you when they come through, they're going to tell you something, Chaz, that you never heard before. And because of how silly you are, you can't wait to hear this new news that no one else has heard. But all the while, man, you're giving up your hard-earned cash. You're being bullied. And these kids that are on this thing, these kids are being dealt with from the standpoint of they're being pushed to do things that they don't want to do because their minds are so weak and malleable. And people like you and I, instead of talking like this, we don't say anything about it. We fuel this thing. And when we hear something about it, instead of telling people, you shouldn't be listening to that. Because here's the deal. A lot of us, we want everybody to just talk nice and soft and simple. Well, you know, if they just give them a chance, when are we going to stand up to these people? The Black Panther Party showed us how to do it. Back in the 60s and the 50s, late 50s and the early 60s, when a drug dealer moved in the neighborhood, the Black Panther Party put that person out. They made a move, or they made them stop selling drugs, because all the Black Panthers went to that person's house and said, you're not going to do that. We're not going to tell these entertainers that, because we love Denzel. Not that Denzel has said anything negative and all that. But when you talk about Denzel, you talk about Whoopi Goldberg, the people that you talk to, they're going to put a knot upside your head because they're falling in love with these people, man. And these people don't give 2 cents. I almost said 2 rats. You know what? They don't care about us, but we are going crazy, Chaz.
I just wanted to go back to what the sister Nuji said about the cyberbullying, about the kids, because I think the kids are the ones who are really at risk, where they're on the internet. Their minds are still fragile. Brother, do you know that there's some challenges that these sick men and women who created TikTok, they create these challenges to bully these kids. These kids have low self-esteem. They're jumping off of bridges. They're killing themselves at a high rate. And in fact, the parents know nothing about this. And when the parents find out, it's devastating, because it's like they were on social media thinking they were just watching cartoon videos and stuff like that. But the teenagers are the ones who I think who are at high risk for cyberbullying. Really.
Yeah, she's absolutely right, Chaz. So that was a good comment. But check this out, Chaz, because I want you to talk about this too.
Social media beefs are enjoyed by sick minds. Yes, it is enjoyed by sick minds. And I said this earlier. Anytime you get an older person that's, past the teenage years, where they're hyped and they're happy to hear about another man's family get torn down. They're hyped and they're happy when people get killed. Brother, it's even to the point now when you beef on social media and the other person gets killed, they call it hypothetically, if a man killed a guy named Chris, they say we smoking on that Chris pack. That's how bad this social media beast has gotten, where we're broadcasting it, and it's like we feel pride and pleasure out of this. It's terrible.
Chaz, social media beefs are enjoyed by sick minds. When we look at that word, those words, sick minds, what kind of people enjoy listening to two grown men or two grown women or a man and a woman? What kind of people enjoy listening to that constantly, nonstop? What kind of people wake up looking for their phone to see what somebody said so they can be of the latest penny or the latest news? What kind of people will tell you verbatim somebody's whole life that they don't know about, man? But they've been on the internet so many times, and this is become a part of them, man. If that's not a sick person, man, somebody tell me what is. We have a lot of sick people, and people don't like us to talk like this because, once again, they want to try to sugarcoat it. Sometimes you got to put the hammer down, man. You've got to put the hammer down. Yes. And it's harder to, we always want to get around, or we want to tell people the way we want them to be told. We want to say it soft-spoken. The bottom line is we've got to stop this nonsense. And people that are doing this, that's constantly, there's something wrong with them, man. And we don't want to acknowledge that. So we act like they're normal, even though they work, and no, they're not normal. Who would like to, first thing they do, grab a phone and look at what a person said about another person, and to get mad when they don't see that they said something?
I don't think a lot of the people look at it like the way you're looking at it.
They don't,
brother. The average person's looking at it as harmless entertainment, and it's something to talk about. I don't think that they're looking at it as deep as we are. They feel like this is just something to do. I'm just doing it for entertainment, and that's it. They see nothing wrong with it.
But it affects, okay, and I get what you're saying, and I do agree with what you're saying. This once again shows how low we have stooped. We've stooped to a level so low that we don't even recognize the damage of what this stuff is doing to us. That's low, Chaz. When someone does something to you or I, and we don't realize what they're doing to us, then there's got to be something wrong with us, man. No normal person, no sane person will let you spit in their face or rub boo-boo in their face, and then you say, oh, there's nothing on my face, when it's all over your face. This has taken us down a road, and a lot of us, the preachers are not going to talk about it like this. The imams are not going to talk about it like this. The so-called spiritual gurus, they're not going to talk about it like this, because they're all trying to get your money, see? They're trying to get you to follow them, and you running like a pig, running to a place, giving them everything you got. You're opening yourself up to this, and we're so low, Chaz. We don't even realize, man, that these places, these people, they have destroyed our minds, man. And a lot of us don't want to hear that. And so we have to look at this thing for what it's worth. I want to make a quick announcement too, Chaz, because we were saying that tomorrow, Are You Serious? By Queen Zuri and Queen, what's her name?
Crizzy.
Queen Crizzy and Queen Zuri. That won't be seen tomorrow, but they'll let us know, and we'll let the people know, because we want them to be abreast that that's a broadcast that people need to be ready for, Chaz. See, these are the things that people should be wanting to see. But see, we rather turn and find out, what did Kevin Hart say now about Cat Williams, or what did Monique say about DL Hughley? I mean, it's everywhere, and this is why we are the way we are now.
Number 12, social media beef causes divisions among us who need to be trying to unite during these difficult times. Yes, the inflation is going up. People are losing their jobs. Immigrants are getting dropped off in all 50 states. There is so much more stuff that's more seriously going on than some beasts. We need to be trying to come together. But in fact, this is a plan, like I told you earlier, brother, by the elites. They strategically did this to divide and what they say conquer. It's to divide us. And let me ask you this real quick. Do you think it's possible, as the last segment says, do you think that we can unite during difficult times, or do you think it's going to get more chaotic and haywire?
I think there are pockets of people who have the right mindset, and those people are not enough. But to those who unite, I do believe the answer is yes, but on a small level, because everybody's not into this mess. But the majority of us are into this mess. So no, we're not going to unite, because if you and I are beefing on social media, how can we unite when I'm arguing with you and you're arguing with me and you're talking about my family? I'm talking about your family. You're talking about my career. I'm talking about your career. You're exposing things about me that you shouldn't be doing. I'm trying to expose you. So we would not unite. Too many of us, man, too many of us, we have allowed social media to take us hostage. And so now all we want to do is watch the Cat Williams, watch the Shannon Sharps, watch the Moniques, watch the D.L. Hoogleys, watch all these people, man. That's what we want, chat. We don't want what you and I are talking about. We don't want this, man. We want these preachers on here that's telling us stuff, beefing with other preachers. This preacher, this church talking about that church. This mosque is talking about that mosque. You know, this imam is talking about that imam. This guru, this spiritual guru talking about that spiritual guru. We have lost it, man. And I'm telling you now, a lot of us don't want to hear this, but we've got to say it, because everybody want to come in their own way like they know it all. We're telling you that we know that what we're saying is true. And this is why we don't get as many comments as we used to. This is why many people have dropped off. Because when Yoni came on, I remember Sister Yoni came on, she asked for donations. And ever since then, the plane has been going down lower and lower, you see. And this is why people are not interested in this, man. And we have to be honest with ourselves to say, we're going to do it until the cows come home. It ain't about that. But I'm showing you how messed up we are as a people, because I asked you for a donation, or you asked me for a donation. Now I don't want to show up. But yet I'm still on the internet now. I'm still doing things, and this is supposed to be a good broadcast. They're not interested in what we have going on, and this is a problem.
Question. Who is to blame for all this social media?
Repeat what you said earlier. Repeat what you said earlier. Who is to blame what you said? Social media.
But some of it, brother, I would say we are to blame. We should listen. We are adults. We should be able to sit back and say, you know what? This is foolish. This is nonsense. I just refuse to participate. I'm not going to. I mean, if I see it on social media, I'm going to zoom past it. If I see it on TV, I'm going to turn the channel. But I think most of it, we are to blame, brother. We love to point the finger at him. We love to point the finger at her, that person. No, most of this is us, and we know better. We have a brain. We have common sense. Most of this is caused by us. Now, there are a few people in the background who are orchestrating this and doing certain things to get people's attention, brother. But would you agree that most of this, we are to blame?
I say so, because we're the ones who are going on these platforms and looking at them. So you're right. They have their role because they're going to feed it. But we have acted too so small-minded, to the degree that we look at people arguing back and forth all day long, and that's not really normal. So this is why we're saying this is a sickness, you see. And this is why we are to blame for it, but we don't like to put the blame on us. We want to put the blame, as you said, on everybody else, because that takes us off the hook. Hold on for a second. I got a call.
Okay.
But yeah, and this is where we are today. And so we have mental issues, Chaz. We've done a broadcast on that, and how many of us don't want to we don't want help because we think we're okay. But we really have mental issues. We up one day, down the next. We can't hold a conversation. We can't relate to people. And we're saying this is what we need to do. We need to be unifying. And so instead of us having 80 million people watching this saying, I need to do better, I got to stop this, we have a few people watching this. But as soon as somebody comes on there with a new beef, everybody's going to it. And this shows you where we are. This shows you how low, as I keep saying over and over again, we have stooped.
Practical ways to not be a part of social media beefing. A, stop following these immature people who use this platform to argue and talk down about other people. That's perfectly said. And listen, I don't know why we're starting to see an uptick in so many social media influencers who orchestrate this crap. It used to not be like, bro. I'm telling you, and I hate to keep going back on the past. We used to not see this uptick in beef and immaturity of adults acting this way. But now it's just has skyrocketed through the roof. But it's hard for us, brother, to not follow these people. In fact, it's so popular and trendy. That's why we cling on to it, because anything that's popping, anything that's new, anything that everybody's doing, we run and jump to it. It's sad though, bro. I told you earlier, I don't think that we can stop following these people. I really don't.
And I believe you, but these are just points for those who really want to do better. If you can't do better or you don't want to do better, that's your business, okay? Because we can't save everybody, you know. We can't be like Captain Save or you know what. We can't be like that. No, you know what I really want to say, and I don't want to take us off. But those who heard that statement before, you know what the rest of it says. Some of us want to be like Captain Save or you know what. We're not trying to do all of that. All we're saying, Chaz, is people have to realize that. Have we learned our lesson yet? Tupac, Biggie.
Have we learned? No, don't you go there now.
Have we learned our lesson? We should have learned back then. Beefing is going to end up getting somebody killed. That's what I'm trying to say, man. Beefing is going to get somebody killed. And we're still doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing. East Coast rappers against the West Coast rappers. People getting shot up because of a place you live, but that you don't even own, but you're going to shoot somebody from the West Coast because you're from the East Coast. Well, you don't like somebody because they like Kevin Hart and you like Cat Williams. You know, you don't like somebody because they like Monique, but yet this other person like DL. See, this is what I'm trying to say. This is immaturity at its best, man. So this is why I'm telling you, man, people are going to have to come back to themselves and say, I got to stop playing games. And even if they keep doing it, we should not do it, you see. Because we've got to be able to say, stop following these immature adults. And this is what I want to say, and I'll give it back to you. And this is this.
Okay.
Some people brag about this, Chaz.
Oh,
When you ask them, who you follow this person? Yeah, I follow them. They put their chest up. Yeah, I follow them. And the person is very, very ignorant. The person is very low, man. The person is downing people. See, we normally give. Every time we do a broadcast, we're giving an application. In other words, we talked about the problem. Now we're giving this antidote and the solutions to the problem. But a lot of people don't want that, man, because these social media beefs that's going on amongst us African Americans, it's got to stop. And someone has to begin to say, stop following these people, man. But that's hard to do, though.
Yeah, and like you said, we have our chest stuck out and we're hype about who we follow. And then some of us get into altercations about who we feel like why you shouldn't follow. It's even bad. And there were some football games that this took place. There was a fan, I want to say he went to the New York Giants arena, had the other team's jersey, and the man lost his life. Flipped the man over the doggone stairway, killed the man. This is big. Now, this is a social media beef, but it still ties into this podcast. It's still beef at the end of the day. But back to the point, like you said, we have to unfollow these people. In fact,
brother, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to. I'm giving you I'm going to give you a dose of your medicine that you gave me about 10 minutes ago. They're not going to. We're not. I'll put it that way. We're not going to do it now, but we still got to tell the truth. So that's the thing. Just because they're not going to do it, we still have to tell the truth, and that's the problem that I'm trying to get people to see. We must tell the truth, regardless of who listens or who doesn't listen. But they're not going to do it because they're still bragging. Instead of stop following these immature adults, they're going to tell you, well, I've been following this person for 5 years. But that ought to tell you something. But you're still following a person that's messy. You haven't grown. You don't want to grow up. And here's something that a lot of people will hit you in the face if you tell them this. Turn off the notifications.
Brother, go ahead.
No, you can have this one. You can have this one.
I was going to say, I said this and plenty of other podcasts prior. It's called Detox. And basically, you have an addiction to social media or just the phone, period. Say, you know what? I'm not going to get on this phone for 2 or 3 days, social media wise. I'm not getting on Facebook. I'm not getting on Snapchat. I'm not getting on Twitter. I'm not getting on none of these apps for a week. And I've heard a lot of people say when they came back, they feel a lot better. They're not so drained. They're not so tired, lethargic, or angry. Because when you listen to this stuff, constantly with all these beasts, brother, that will do something to you psychologically and with your soul. It will play a part. And I would suggest the same thing. If you have the mental fortitude, just get off of social media for a week at least.
Let me tell you what the other side of that. You're not playing both sides of the record. What you're saying is practically true. We should do that. But then I know people that have gotten off of social media for a month. But when they came back, Chaz, it was like a relapse. They wanted to catch up with what they missed, you see. So they were searching high, searching low, not getting any sleep, staying up all night, reading everything because they wanted to catch up with what they missed. See, they did it the wrong way. Because what we're saying is these beefs, Chaz, we shouldn't be involved in these beefs. Right. We shouldn't want these beefs. But a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that this is really going on. Now, here's somebody saying this. Here's another. Here's a comment here.
Sister Sharon says social media is a drug.
Yeah, you
could drop the mic on that.
Yeah, you really can, because these beefs that's going on, we're too old for this, Chaz. People are not interested in learning how to grow. This is why I keep telling you the same thing about this broadcast. We're going to do it until the cows come home. But a lot of people aren't committed. They're not consistent because they know that when they come to this broadcast, you're going to get truth come hell or come true. You're going to get truth come hell or high water. But a lot of us aren't interested in this until we're interested in it. And like you just said, here's another thing that we can do to avoid these African-American beefs on social media. Engage in positive activities in life. Man, that's simple, man.
And I've said this in previous podcasts. If they're able to walk, get up, go to the park, get up, go to the gym, get up, go to the movies, get up and just do something that's going to relax your mind. Go into some what you call after school activities. If you're a teenager, listen to this. Listen. The worst place is idle time. Sitting back on your phone for 8, 9, 10 hours. You cannot do that. You have to go out and jog. Do some kind of physical activity to get yourself a heart rate and stuff going. That's what I would suggest.
And I would agree with that too, because there's too many positive things that's going on now that we should be engaging in, as opposed to always trying to follow somebody or trying to look at Kevin Hart, Cat Williams and Monique and all of them. You know, we're trying to follow the mess as opposed to getting ourselves together, because our lives should be important to us enough to say, I don't have time for that, man. I really don't have time for that. Now, when it comes my way, I'm going to check it. And I'm going to tell you, when you ask me, have you heard about what so-and-so said about so-and-so? And you're going on and on. I'm going to say, hold on for a second, Chaz. I don't want to hear that, really. Now, you can hold on to that if that's what you want, but I don't care. I don't care about that. These people aren't doing anything for me. I don't care about that. You see, so I'm not going to fall in love with a celebrity. I'm not going to fall in love with their personality. I'm not going to fall in love with the way they do things. I'm not going to fall in love with a spiritual guru. I'm not going to fall in love with a preacher. I'm not going to fall in love with an imam's personality. I don't have time for that, man. I've got to work on myself, Chaz. And that's way more important than me sitting around trying to follow somebody and engage in nonsense when it comes to every time you look around, somebody arguing with somebody on social media.
You said a handful, brother. Absolutely. And we're going to move on to the next point, letter D. Set goals that will allow your mind to grow and expand. Yes, as far as learning a new language, if you can, if you have the funds to do that. Like I said, exercising, just doing something that you know that you won't be on that phone. Anything and let me be clear. Not dope, not alcohol, but anything besides that's going to help your mind as far as like exercising and things to that nature.
Whatever happened to this? Walking, Chaz. Enjoying nature, walking. Set goals. When you're walking, do some serious thinking, some critical thinking, some analytical thinking. You want your mind to expand. There's something called atrophy. And that's where, when we get older, if we don't use our mind, like we don't use our muscles, it begins to shrink, you see. And then we begin to go backwards instead of going forward. And so because we watched all this mess on social media and it's in our hearts, we watch all these movies, we've watched all these sitcoms, we've watched all these beefs, we've watched all this stuff. And now, Chaz, what has happened is atrophy is set in, and now we don't know how to have a conversation with someone who's serious because we're not allowing our minds to expand. The mind must expand, Chaz. It has to expand.
It has to, brother. That's that was another thing I forgot to mention. Some people who can do like Sudoku and crossword puzzles, that's even good for the mind. We have another comment that came in. Sister Barbara says, "My mama used to say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. When you allow your mind to be unproductive, you allow anything to come in." Great topic, Kings. I'll let you get some feedback on that.
Yeah, she's absolutely right, because grandma, grandpa, mama, daddy, all of them, they used to try to warn us of today. See, but we didn't look at it because they didn't know that this day was coming, because a lot of them are gone. But basically they're saying, when we sit around and do nothing, which that's what this is. When you're on social media, and when I'm on social media and we're just flipping, some of us, they call it binging, where you grab your phone and you flip through it. You don't know why you're flipping through it. You don't know why, but you're flipping through it for almost an hour, Chaz. Yeah. For almost an hour. And then you find somebody arguing or beefing, you stop. Now you look at that, and now you just sitting there listening. Yeah, he's sure right. Yes, she is. And then what happens is, you take on that personality, you see. And so when I see you, because I've binged and I've found what I want to find, I'm gonna tell you, man, guess what? Man, guess what Wesley Snipes did? Man, that Ian did this. That Ian did this, man. You know, he ought to be, but see, I'm just repeating what I just read. See, I don't know anything about whether it's true or not. But because my mind is so weak, I really believe that in my heart. When you say, Jahi, man, big brother, you don't even know what you're talking about. Now I'm angry because I'm so caught up into this thing, see? And this is a problem. And my mind is weak, man. My mind is really weak.
And just as a side note, I was just going to say, these blogs, channels, and these bloggers who get paid for this, bro, they're making so much money off of all this. It's gotten real bad with these bloggers, where that's the new job. If you really want to make money, the blogging is where it's at, because it's just so much drama and chaos in it, and everybody's flocking to it.
I told you Shannon Sharp got $100,000 for the episode he did with Cat Williams, because they broke the internet viewership. They got over 80 million viewers. There's only 60 million African-American viewers. And I bet you most of us were in that. So I counted as 60, and then they got others. But I'm telling you now, man, we as a people, we have allowed this thing that you and I are talking on now. We have allowed it to take us to a place that we shouldn't be in. It's like it's sucked us into the vortex or the twilight zone, and we don't know how to get out. And now some of us are so stuck, we don't want to get out. So we don't want to hear. We don't want out. Yes, we don't want out. Come on. We don't want out, man. And this is why whenever people try to talk to us about, you're spending too much time listening to that nonsense, now we want to fight. You're talking about my friend? You don't even know Cedric the Entertainer. You don't even know Steve Harvey. You don't even know nephew Tommy. But we didn't. Now, I didn't say we couldn't listen to them if we were mature and understand we listen to something and leave it at that and keep going. But waiting for them to come up, to drop the new one, waiting for Steve Harvey to go off on somebody else, waiting for Monique to drop it on somebody else. This is a mind that has been destroyed, Chaz.
Man, that is that's well said. Letter E. We run out of time here. It says, spend time practicing daily routines to stay off negative social media beefs. Like we mentioned earlier, exercise, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, going out if you're a teenager to the Boys and Girls Club, getting involved in after-school activities, anything to stay off of these phones, because that's where they get you at. I was going to ask you, big brother, before we run out of time here, are we coming back for part 2 of this? Because this is getting good.
We didn't get a chance to get through half our notes, so we're going to do a part 2, and we're going to pick it up where we left off on, because this is let's call it what it is. All these social media beefs with these African Americans, our people, going back and forth, talking about each other, talking about each other's parents, talking about each other's finances, talking about each other when they didn't have this and didn't have that. Chaz, let's be honest, that's nothing but negativity. That's negative energy. And we always talk about this energy, and vibing. This is some low vibing, man. This is very low energy. See, and you're laughing, but you know it's true, because that's what that's what us spiritual people are always talking about. Energy and vibing. That's low, man. You know it's real low, Chaz. You know it's real low, man.
It is, and I do hear that a lot in you guys' spiritual activities, where they always talking about that. And from my perspective, like you said, the vibing is low.
It's very low.
The music is wrapping up, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But I was just going to say, tonight's broadcast, it was fun. It was encouraging. It was out of love. And tonight's broadcast was social media beef. Stay off of this crap with these social media influencers, gossiping like little kids, going back and forth. And if you run into your relative or your homeboy at the store that says, have you heard about Steve Harvey? Just say, you know what, man, I don't really want to hear about that. It's not going to produce anything positive in my life. I really don't want to hear it. And what happened, brother, to us having a what you call a conflict with one another and just call them on the phone. But now everything is on social media. It's so bad where people can dig so much junk and just blast it all over social media. And last but not least, I'm going to read one more comment. I'm going to give her to wrap up my speech. She says, we need that higher frequency. But back to my comment real quick. But yes, this was so fun, brother, and it's practical. We even have this. We, as me and you, we all have these. And we have to say, you know what? I'm not going to let this tear me down. I'm not going to let this get me depressed. I'm going to call this brother. And if we have a disagreement, I'm not going to blast this news all over social media. I'm going to just call him and hash it out like grown adults. That's all I got to say, big brother. I'll go ahead and pass it to you.
Okay, this has been Adults Only with Chaz and myself, Big Brother Jahi. We appreciate y'all tuning in. And as the Queen said earlier, the last message, we have a song called Higher Frequency. And that song is talking about the very things that we're talking about tonight. If I can find it, maybe when we go off the air, I'll put it on as our outro music. But we do have to vibe. We got to vibe on a higher frequency, Chaz, because a lot of us have gotten sucked into this, and we don't want that for you. We don't want that for you. Tell a friend to come back on next week. Watch it from its entirety. If you jumped on the train and the train was already going tonight, go back and watch this from the beginning, because you need to hear the things that we're saying, because it applies to all of us. It applies to Chaz. It applies to me. It applies to all of us. And so we speak with such passion because of our love for our people.
Yeah.
Many of our people are gone, and we want to bring you back to your own senses. Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, all these people we talked about, these are millionaires, man.
Yeah.
They have it made, and yet you and I are scrapping, but yet we find time to follow them and watch the dumb stuff to keep our minds messed up. And so we got to start back to getting ourselves back where we need to be. The Queen says she will watch it, or she will come back next week, and we appreciate that, because, Chaz, we cannot play games any longer.
Yeah.
This world is out of control, and we need men and women who's going to stand, as one of my friends used to say way back in the day, flat-footed. We need people that's going to stand flat-footed and tell the truth in love, man, because if no one does this, then we're going to spiral continuously out of control. So tonight's broadcast has been African Americans beefing on social media. We're asking you to come back next week. Tell a friend, and we're going to strike this thing up again where we left off at, because we really want you to know that it's important that we take these serious subjects and we deal with them. Grow up. I'm talking to myself. Grow up. What do you want to do for the rest of your life, or my life? On a cell phone, looking at people argue back and forth? You're 60, 50, 40, 70, 80. Come on, y'all. We all can do better. So on behalf of Chaz, check us out next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I'll stop this music and I'll try to find this one we have that's called Higher Frequency, because we want you to hear that song, as the Queen says something about higher frequency, because that's important, y'all. We got to develop a higher frequency if I can find it. So Chaz, I'm going to get out of here, man, and I'll talk to you next week, and that's the song.
We gotta get your frequency much higher. Tell them what we're
care.
here, big brother. That higher frequency. Those waves.
Your vibe is not that high.
Yeah.
I understand why.
Tell it.
Your wavelength, alright. You're miserable. Bullseye. Can't move. Here's why. Stuck on standby. It's time to vibe. I said vibe. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm subconsciously picking up on the negativity.
Give me that wavelength again.
Interrupted waves guide.
Won't stop.
Off beat, no supply.
No supply.
Oscillation, beast ride. Confused, don't deny. All is energy, no lie. Your vigor is about to die. Nothing rests, so you can't get by. Everything moves, so where's your vibe? You better vibe. I said vibe. Just what I thought. Negation of energy or light. We ain't playing with y'all. Connect from within.
Dig. What's up, Chaz?
Master energy and master everything.
See that wavelength again. Nothing rests. Everything moves and everything vibrates, right? The whole universe quivers, even your pure energy vibrating unseen to the eyesight. You are part of the universe. This is only your delight. The secrets of the universe is energy, frequency, vibration, day and night.
We talking about the law of vibration.
Dig.
All things vibrate.
That's right, big brother. Get it right here. Energy. Now vibe. Come on, King.
Enjoy life, no jive. Undisturbed waves, third eye.
Ashe.
Frequency now utilized. Select joy and you've revived.
Hotel.
Nothing weakens you. Exercise. All things vibrate in the sky.
Come on, hotel.
Speak to the universe, your ally. Now vibe.
Y'all better vibe.
Come on, conscious people. I'll say it one more time.
Dig.
Vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your frequency is lofty now. Yup. That's it, y'all.
Uja Seneb.